Hi guys, it's Matt Simpson. This is my TED Talks speech or evaluation. Alright, so my opinion on the Sir Ted Robinson one is I loved his speech. I completely agree that the education system is going the wrong way about how we're educating children. We definitely need to be finding out people's strengths, and sorry about that. We need to find out people's strengths and go on that. Like if I had known that I liked to play music earlier on, I definitely would have taken piano lessons. Unfortunately, I didn't get to really get into music until about 9th, 10th grade, which by then a lot of the natural motor skills that would have been helpful had dissipated. I loved how he used humor in all of his speeches. It was very, like, if the actual subject didn't catch my attention, the humor definitely would have. He was very punctual. He maintained eye contact. He used his hands very often. Did not seem nervous at all. Very easy speech to watch. Then there's Chimamanda Ngozi. Not sure how to pronounce that name, but she gave her points by sharing a personal experience. And it really played on the ignorance of just other cultures, including ours. Mostly, well, not mostly, but definitely including ours. And we've been judging a race, country, or continent by a single stereotype. Africa, there's so many different countries in Africa, yet every single story that we've heard has been a poor child needs food, AIDS, men abusing women, just very primal. But that's not how it is at all. And it also, what she was talking about how changing the point of view of the story, it just goes to prove that history is written by the victors. I mean, we watch movies and there's the good guys who beat the bad guys. How many of those times do you think that the good guys were actually the good guys? For my other two TED Talks that I watched, one was Robert Full, and it's The Sticky Wonder of Gecko Feet. And what his was is a group of scientists went to create the perfect foot. And they started out with like a crab, I think it was, and just a single point like that, and realized, pretty much started from the basics, worked their way up, and one of the things that they found was gecko's feet had millions of like split ends of hair on their feet, which grabbed at an intermolecular basis. Thought that was very interesting. He didn't have the best stage performance, but the content was interesting enough. Let's see, there was also Ryan Holiday, and his was showcasing a app that he made for the Washington Monument, and it was pretty much, you put on your headphones, you hit play, and it uses GPS to track where you are within the monument and adds a soundtrack to it. It's kind of cool. Most of his was pre-recorded and it was a video, most of what it was. He did have a pretty cool demonstration of it, and it showed a little arrow on a map, and it's like, oh, when you get here, violins start playing, and then when you get here, it's a choir. It was a pretty decent presentation. It was only about 6 minutes long. The last one that I watched was Krista Donaldson, and hers was, she manufactured a usable $80 prosthetic knee, which a high-end titanium with all the sensors prosthetic knee would cost $20,000. A low-end just goes to simulate how an actual knee would work is $1,400. Then there's the poor man knee, which is $120, and that one is entirely just like a hinge. Doesn't move any other way but up and down. Very unusable, and it's $120 for that too. She created a cheap and usable prosthetic knee for, I think she said it was for Afghanistan. There was a lot of amputees from car accidents and vehicular mishaps, and it was a very usable, very affordable, and actually useful. Those were the 3 TED Talks that I watched, aside from the required 2. And personally, I thought the best speaker was Sir Ted Robinson. And I didn't, even though Chimamanda was talking, she was reading a story, I did feel like she made very good eye contact throughout the entire thing, and she wasn't reading it word for word, which it was nice to actually see her look up at the camera, look up at the audience. And most of the, actually entirely all of the other 3 that I watched were entirely pre-rehearsed, and they did a very good job on it, but I could tell that if they had made any mistakes, they would have entirely slipped up and started tripping over themselves. I'm Matt Simpson. This is Communication Studies 220. Thank you guys very much.